Hi everyone, Jason Marcortis here with Landmark Property Management, and today we are answering the question, can I sell my rental property with tenants in it? We wrote this blog a few years ago and it was a big hit. Still to this day, it was our #1 blog of all time. So we wanted to film a complimentary video to go along with it. So, can I sell my rental property with tenants in it? The short answer, of course, is yes. The lease is a legal document and it survives the sale. So you're allowed to sell the property and transfer ownership, but you, or really the new buyer, is going to have to honor that lease. In my opinion, the real question is not can I, but should I sell my rental property with tenants in it? While you can, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best option for you. So today I'm going to go over a few of the pros and cons to selling your rental property with tenants in it versus selling it vacant. So to start off with pro number one, you don't have to disturb the tenant. So if the tenant's been there for a few years or you have a personal relationship with that tenant and you don't want to disturb them, if you sell it occupied, nothing really happens for that tenant. They basically just pay rent to a new owner, but they don't have to up and leave or anything like that. Number two pro is you can list it immediately. So if you want to sell it vacant, you have to give that tenant notice and have them move out. In some places it's 30, 60, 90. In the city of Chicago right now, for some tenants, it's 120 days that you have to give them notice prior to them moving out. So if you sell it occupied, you can pretty much list it immediately. The third pro is it can be less costly. So if the tenant is not moving out, you're not going to have those unit turn costs of repainting the whole place, doing all new flooring and all the miscellaneous repairs that come with unit turns. So those are three pros. A few cons. Number one, your buyer pool is going to be limited to investors. So the overwhelming majority of single family homes and condos are purchased by what we call end users or home buyers, people that want to move in and raise a family or do whatever they want to do in their house. If it's occupied, obviously they can't do that, so you're limited to investors. This may or may not limit your net profit on the deal. Con number two, it may not show as good. So obviously we've had tenants that keep the properties looking immaculate. If you walk in, it looks like home and garden. But that's not always the case. So if the tenant's a little disorganized or messy, as buyers are coming through, they may be turned off by what they see. So that's con number two. Con number three is it's definitely more difficult to schedule showings, appraisal, inspections, those type of things with a tenant in place. So typically you have to give them at least 24, if not 48 hours notice, depending on your municipality, that you're going to enter for a showing or for whatever. So it's definitely much more complex than if it's vacant. You hang a lockbox on the front door, people can kind of come and go as they please. Very simple. So the last con we're going to talk about today is you may run the risk of upsetting that tenant, which may lead to unpaid rent and eviction, or what we call a midnight move, which is basically them just up and leaving without telling you. Now, if you sold that property as a rental property and there's a buyer that's expecting a tenant in place that's performing, or AKA paying rent, that may be an issue and it may blow up your deal. We've seen deals fall through at the closing table multiple times because of, again, tenants not paying rent, or the tenant just up and left a couple days before closing without telling anybody. So just with, as with everything in life, there are pros and cons to selling your rental property with tenants in it versus vacant. If it was up to us, personally, we would recommend selling it vacant. It is, again, much easier, more simple to sell it vacant. And then we do believe that it's going to maximize your profit by casting as wide a net as possible and really basically being able to market that to all end users or home buyers out there. But again, that's not the case for every deal or every person. So it's really a personal decision that's up to you. If you have any questions about this, or if we can provide value in any way, feel free to reach out and use us as a resource. You can check out our website at chicagospropertymanagement.com, or feel free to give us a call. Thank you.